Welcome to the Experience Darden podcast. I'm your host, Brett Twitty, and you are listening to a new episode. On this episode of the podcast, we continue our periodic spotlight on entrepreneurship here at the Darden School of Business with a conversation with Rooney Lee. In this conversation, Rooney and I talk about his venture, Newsublease, that he has launched with two other students from the full-time MBA class of 2023, Xin-Yi Zhang and Shreyas Adioti. We talk with Rooney about his background, how he decided to pursue an MBA, what led him to Darden, how things are going with Newsublease, where the idea came from, how UVA's Entrepreneurship Cup, or E-Cup as it's known, helped him explore his venture, figure out what the idea should be, and so much more. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. So without further ado, here's my interview with Rooney Lee. Rooney, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Brad. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, here you are. I think this is the final quarter of your MBA program. Is that right?
Yeah, actually yesterday was my last class day at Darden. So yeah, I cannot believe it.
How did that feel, your last class at Darden?
Well, to be honest, still, I feel like it's not real. Feel like still I need to go to school tomorrow. Or maybe the reason why is I still need to be in Charlottesville. So
all right. So even though you may be done, you may not feel like you're done just yet. Now you got graduation on the horizon. Do you have family coming in for graduation?
No, not really. I'm originally from South Korea and my family is still there. My sister lives in Germany, but she's visiting Korea right now. They are having pretty good time without me. So no, they are not coming this time.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about you. So tell us about you. Who are you, and what did you do before coming to Darden?
Sure. Yeah, I just briefly talked about it, but originally from South Korea. I came to the state about 10 years ago. I was in the army back in Korea, and then came here and then worked about 7 years. In all different functions. I worked in just the same company, name called the Cummins, which is biggest engine company. Now they are building all electric as well. But I was there as an HR, analytics, Six Sigma black belt, leading the analytics team, business transformation, and like product development before. Just a fun fact, I have a typical Asian blushing, like when I was drinking, when I'm drinking any alcohol, but I have a wine sommelier certificate actually. So.
All right. How did you get interested in wine?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because I cannot drink a lot. I was looking for, still I wanted to enjoy some kind of social and drink, and found the wine is actually a good topic. Like with only, I mean, some people drink a lot, but for me, like with only less than one bottle, still you can enjoy and then talk a lot, because every wine has different stories. That was fascinating to me. So yeah, that's why I just like took a chance and then studied about the wine.
And so you're a sommelier?
Oh, well, like a basic level. And then always I said like, hey, like a lawyer, like a disclaimer, this is not like right advice. Still every wine is different. I only know like what I tried.
All right. So how did you decide that you wanted to pursue an MBA? You mentioned you were working at Cummins, different roles. How did you decide an MBA was the right next step for you?
Sure. So it was like from my experience right before Darden, I was leading business transformation for my company, working directly with CEO as and other senior executives. And then I found either to climb up the ladder in the company. To be honest, a lot of mentors advised me that like, hey, because MBA might be a good like plus on your resume, not a requirement. So that's the one thing. And then secondly, also, I was also interested in the entrepreneurship as well. And then I wanted to get more resource and the networks, which is something I expect to get from MBA. So.
How did you land on Darden? What attracted you to Darden specifically?
Yeah, for Darden, because I had some criteria when it comes to the MBA. The very first one was I personally prefer small small class size because I really wanted to have like a very close friends or network, the people that I can hang out anytime, even after the school. So close school size really matters. And then secondly, like how like what kind of experience I can get from school. That's why I love the case method and then the learning team. Luckily, when I was searching for the school, I was able to connect some of the class of 2021 friends. Still, I'm super close to them, but based on that experience, I learned that like Darden can give you really transformational experience during that 2 years. So I was thinking about, okay, I need to pay a lot for my MBA. Like, what would be the best for me? So those are two top criteria. The reason why I picked a Darden.
What was attractive to you about the case method?
Yeah. So a case method. I mean, again, because first I'm originally from South Korea. The cultural thing was a big thing. So in South Korea, we okay, like it depends on the people, but at least that for me, uh, our culture is not like speaking up that much. And then one thing that I felt throughout my like 7 years of career in the U.S., and I always like felt like some kind of room to improve when it comes to the communication, like more proactive, and then like speak up, like and then like more of my voice out. And then case method is actually like a perfect setting. Then like they put me on the setting of like a very stressful or very with a conflict, a lot of different situation with the different business cases. And then that's what I saw from my other friends in the alumni or previous classes. I saw that how people actually changed it within 2 years. That was amazing. And I right now I feel I made actually the right choice.
That's great. I mean, I've heard similar things from students about the case method that they were excited about the opportunity, maybe felt a little nervous about it, but excited about the opportunity to speak up in class and know that they would be challenged in that way and have the opportunity to practice these skills
Yeah,
in a setting where, you've got friends, your classmates are here to support you. It's a supportive environment.
right, exactly. I mean, I I can say like it's supportive at the same time. Again, it's challenging. Of course, it's a challenging for many people, but it designed that way, challenging, and then try to help you come out of your comfort zone. And then I believe that's the best way for anybody to grow. So,
So you come to Darden, you're a brand new first year student. What was the adjustment to graduate business school like for you?
adjustment for the grad school. Oh, well, the first one is a lot of things on your plate at the same time, and everyone has different priority. But school give you a lot of things. Friends ask you a lot of things, or maybe your family ask you a lot of things. You will get a lot of different roles within the very short time frame. You need to prepare for the recruiting. I wanted to do try something entrepreneurship. Like a lot of things are just came to you at the same time. And then maybe some people feeling like I don't want to miss anything. A lot of people got already successful career or like achievement in their life, um, feeling like they want to achieve everything, but there's no way that you can get everything because Darden is such a good program, tons of resources there. There's no way that you can actually hit everything. So I think to me that was like a big thing. Like you need to think about like what you actually want to get, or in different way, what's the thing that okay to give up.
I think that's an important point. When we talk with folks here on the podcast, they do really highlight the importance of prioritization. To your earlier point, you can't do everything. It's probably the first time in people's lives that they've come up against this. Oh my gosh, I can't be everywhere. I can't do everything. I can't be 100% prepared for every single class I walk into. I have a limited amount of time, limited amount of energy. And so I have to make some tough decisions as to where I
Yeah,
put that time and energy.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, where were you moving to Charlottesville from? I'm curious, Rooney.
Oh yes. Well, since I came to the States, I lived quite different places. The very first place I came here, it was Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I went to actually school there, U of M, different M, like a lot of people said in Michigan, but U of M there, and started my work at Indiana. It was Columbus, Indiana, very small town with lovely people, and moved to Denver, Colorado. I was there about 3 years, and right before Darden, I was in Los Angeles, California. So you can imagine like moving to the Midwest all around and to the West Coast. And this is Charlottesville is my very first like East Coast experience.
You have some really big towns in there and some pretty good geographic coverage. What have you enjoyed about being in Charlottesville?
Yeah, well, we just briefly talked about the wine thing. Charlottesville has a lot of wineries around here. Every winery has like different wines and different stories, which is like a lot of fun to me. Also like Shenandoah, like mountains, with the weather, because actually here, Charlottesville has the four seasons, which is very similar to the weather in Korea. So I really liked that weather thing because that makes me feeling like a homie. And I can see all those seasonal changes and then color changes, especially fall season. It's gorgeous, like to see all those color changings in the mountain.
We talked a little bit about your first year. So now you're in your second year. I wonder, how's your second year going? I'm sure it's been a busy year. I mean, first year is packed. Second year doesn't slow down either. So how's your second year?
Well, like we often say second year, best year. I agree. Second year because we can choose our schedule, we can pick our electives. So I took most of the entrepreneurship classes and then some marketing classes, which is my personal interest. And also I really focused on getting something out of some of my entrepreneurship efforts. So second year is still same busy for me, but for different priorities. But so far, it was great. Again, time flies. I cannot believe second year is already done. But yeah, second year, I love second year. It's a different busy and a different level of stress. But still, it was very great.
So you recently participated in the E-Cup or the Entrepreneurship Cup here. It's UVA wide. It also includes students from UVA Wise.
Right.
So three phases of a competition: concept, discovery, launch. So essentially, an opportunity for you to explore a particular venture or an idea that you have. You entered a venture called Newsublease. Tell us more about what Newsublease is.
Sure. So ECOP, I attended all three like rounds of ECOPs. So the very first one was the concept stage. So you can basically submit your business like concept without actual revenue or the actual like a business, the items or the model itself. It was a very early time actually. On my first year, I submitted like my idea. Actually, luckily we won the first stage as well. It was a different idea. I wanted to build some platform that helps people to share their like workspaces, like home offices, or find like co-working spaces. So initially, my interest was same real estate, but like workspaces. Because I love to find like a cool places to work, like so in like creative, inspiring places. So initially, I started that one, and then joined the second round. Well, I failed to win. Yeah, it was a quite painful, but at the same time, I got lots of great feedback after talking to different customers and the mentors. Then we pivoted our idea to the like sublet side because we found that there is a like new demand, like new problem that we may be able to solve. So that's like how new sublets kind of started, and then joined like third round, which is launch within very short time period. It was like, I think when we joined the third round, it was only week 7 of like New Sublets platform launch. So basically New Sublets is like trusted platform for right now is a student focused, but for the student and traveling professionals to share their sublist and then find their sublist. And we promise three things like a trust, hassle-free leasing, and affordable midterm housing. Because sublists, there's a lot of benefits, but basically you can get more reasonable price than like super high short-term extended stay.
How did you decide that you wanted to pivot your idea to what was initially like a co-work idea to subleasing apartments?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned briefly, I heard a lot of comment and feedback, and I mean, again, frankly, I was so frustrated and then disappointed. Like, I spent a lot of time, I met a lot of people, and I invested like my own personal money. It's not a lot, but still, the time itself was the biggest one, but didn't get the good result, and then a lot of feedback. And then a lot of friends and the mentors actually helped me to be more flexible. And I was thinking about, okay, what else I can do? Because entrepreneurship is a thing that I really want to pursue, not just like business item, like specific thing. And like some of the people mentioned that, hey, because what about this? What about that? And then sublist thing is one of the like topic that we talked about with some of my friend, and then like my team Xinyi there. And then we decide like, yeah, why not? Because I already built my platform for the office space. And then like, yeah, because if that is really the problem, I can just turn my platform and build a new one. Like, so with just one night, I built a new platform, and then yeah, let me test it like this week to see if it's working. Luckily, we picked up super quickly. So even like week 7, when we were doing ECOP, we already got like more than 15,000 views and hundreds of people, and then more than 100 properties listed. So we saw that like, wow, this one is the real thing. So that's the way how we started.
What problem are you trying to solve or help people solve?
Yeah. So maybe I can share like my own story. Like last summer, I interned at Google, and then I went to the Bay Area. It was like nightmare to find housing. Like ended up I used Airbnb for extended stay, and then I paid a lot more because Airbnb or any short-term stay on average is like almost 40% more expensive than regular rent. And then I got back to Darden, and I met a friend who's staying in the car for several days because he didn't get the like apartment for the summertime. The problem was at the same time, I had my apartment empty and I double rent, right? And I realized that that one is not only my individual issue. Like after researching some of the thing, 10 million of student and traveling professionals they wasted over $50 billion, like because of those overpayment for short-term or double rent situation. So that's the problem that we want to help, because there are a lot of waste. There are a lot of people suffering from those housing issue. And then after COVID, a lot of people change their lifestyles. They see that everything is now kind of more liquidate or like shareable, like after those like a lot of gig economy, including Uber. So yeah, that's the thing that we wanted to tackle.
So who is there competition in this space? I mean, I wonder, like, how do you build trust with customers? You're a new kid on the block. I know you mentioned those. Is 3 representations you make to everybody about the apartments, the listings on your site. But how do you build trust as a new venture in the space? Because living somewhere, being in a space like that, like if it's not great, it's not gonna feel too good to people.
Exactly. So that's actually first thing we mentioned about like 3 things that we want to provide, and trust is always the first one. Still, we are working on to make sure that like we make the right platform with the trust. But when it comes to the competition, a lot of people ask me like, hey, what about the Airbnb? Like people were already using the Airbnb. Well, actually, it's not true. Actually, we have a former executive of Airbnb as an advisory board member. But Airbnb is the problem is they actually tried to tap into this market since like 2 years ago with no success. They designed super good on short-term stay. So a lot of things are different for the sublease or midterm housing market. So our actual competition is more likely like a Facebook or a group chat or like the people or the friends. So those are like small things are actual competition. And like I said, it's quite trendy. And I saw that some other startups just started to solve the same issue right now. But to build a trust, we took like a little bit different approach. The first one, we leveraged our like MBA and student networks. So we reached out our friends and then other group chats like, hey, because we just start this initiative to solve or to help each other. And then luckily, yeah, we made official partnership with the Darden admin and then exchange student programs. So we gave some sessions to the incoming students and then registered on their student portal as a like official student housing resource. Those things are actually really helped us to build trust. And then in the back end, we try to verify the emails, whether they are like a real person, because no one wants like sublist to just random people from Craigslist. So those things are something we are trying.
Is there a legal consideration here too? I'm thinking if you signed a lease, every apartment they allow you to sublease. Do you have to read the fine print? I wonder.
Oh, of course. Legal is a huge thing. Another interesting fact that we found is like over like 70% of students, they unfortunately they don't know how to make it legal, or they try to, I don't want to say that way, but they try to avoid the legal way because they just prefer to make it quiet, like under the surface, which is not good. By another experience, like sublease, one time I subleased my apartment to someone, someone I found it from Craigslist. She initially said, "Oh, I'm going to stay with my dog." Ended up she actually lived there with her boyfriend, and then that boyfriend went to my apartment management office and asked, "Hey, because I need another fob and the key to get to the pool." And then they check like, "Who are you?" And then I leave this apartment. And, oh no, you are not on the list. And they made a call to me right away and then, hey, you need to get out of the apartment right away, which was a big problem. But we ended up like found out way. Basically, the only thing I needed was just register, put their name, their extra like a tenant, and then pay $50 for the regular background check. That was it. So a lot of students, they don't know how to make it legal side. So that's the one thing also we want to help. We put a lot of blogs and then materials to educate and then help as a resource to make their deals as legal as possible. We don't do like a contract and everything because of like a legal liabilities there. We are not like agency or the broker. So we try to avoid that actual like the connection between those two, but we try hard to like provide the resources as possible. I've been talking to almost now like 30 different lawyers. I've been seeking the experts' help to find out that one as well.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question. People ran into this with Airbnb, right? It sounds so easy. Oh, you would just want to list your home when you're not there. But there's different regulations that come with that, and you want to make sure that you're not running afoul of whatever the law is in your particular jurisdiction. Such an interesting question. Is there a ratings functionality? Like, can users rate each other? Like, say somebody subleases your apartment. Can you give feedback about them? They give feedback about you?
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, yeah, we do have a rating feature on our platform. It's working very similar to how Airbnb works. But the rating, one thing that we found is, especially when it comes to the sublist, you can imagine that like how often you can sublist like more. So typically, usually students sublist like once or twice a year, and then maybe next 1 or 2 years, and that's it. So there's no way that you can collect like your own personal reviews. So what we found is that rather than just personal review, we are preparing to have like reviews based on the like a property. So let's say someone like incoming student like Darden, that's actually we've been working on, but incoming student Darden, like he found the sublist on like here, like Pavilion at North Ground. Wait, is that like a apartment good for sublist? So actually you can see the review based on the like like property level. So this property is a safe first sublease, and then very supportive. I can do that like in a legal way. So those are like a review based on the property rather than like individuals, because we already verified this is like student of Darden, student of HBS or Chicago, something like that.
That's so interesting. So it sounds like you've begun by reaching out to people at MBA programs. These are, of course, very mobile folks in the summer. They're going to different cities. Think about your experience out in San Francisco. I always wondered, how do people find short-term housing in these big cities where housing is really expensive and not super plentiful?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why probably I personally think it was lucky. This is like a quite peak season or the peak timing for every, let's say, MBA student who's looking for housing for their internship or right after graduate, and then like before they start a full time. So right now on our platform, as of today, I think it's close to 500 registered users, like all top school MBAs across states right now. So they are using their own channels. If they cannot find any like good housing, they use again short-term stay. That's the last resort, but that's like most expensive option. And then if they can find a sublease, that's like for me ideal solution because you can pay almost 40% less than Airbnb, but at the same time you can enjoy the same like facility, buildings, and everything, and also you can connect with the people. A lot of people actually find their kind of friends or network because what we do is introduce like same like MBA students or the law school student, mostly graduate school students right now. So they kind of connected with other people and then they just share information. Hey, you can find some good grocery here, or do you need a car or do you need a bike? I have something, or here's my friend that you can talk to. Because a lot of cases also they have some roommates already there. So that's pretty good perks that I never expected.
So there's a community functionality to this.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I recently learned. The people prefer to see someone who are similar to them, like or like-minded people, or like common friends.
Very interesting. I guess that cuts to that trust consideration, right? Or how do you feel comfortable? New space, new city, a lot of newness there. You're doing something over the internet. You may not have an opportunity to visit before you finalize the sublease. I'm thinking about all the things that could be challenging for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, what's next for new sublease? Where do you go from here? So you pivoted your idea. It sounds like things are going pretty well. You got people using the platform. You got properties listed. What's next?
Yeah. For the next step, luckily, we won the E-Cup last round, which gave us 15K grant. It's not a huge money to be honest, but still it's a good amount of money that we can upgrade our platform. We got lots of great feedback from our users, and then as our platform users pool is growing, we're getting like more and more requests like, hey, because this is cool, but like, can I have like these features, like, or can I get notification? Can I see the stats on my posting, something like that? So we want to upgrade our platform during this summer. And the second thing is we also briefly touched on it, legal part. I've been actively seeking all those legal expert advice to make sure we have right legal frameworks. So that's like a second priority for my summer. I also applied for the Darden iLab. Actually, it's a technically Baton iLab incubator program for this summer. I just had an interview yesterday. Wish me good luck. So anyway, we will spend or invest our summer to upgrade that product and kind of make sure that we have a right legal framework. So that's our next milestone.
It's interesting. You got an idea, have a viable product. Now you got to talk to the lawyers. Did you imagine you two would be engaging with so many lawyers having these conversations?
No, I never imagined, and then I never talked to so many lawyers like this. I honestly talked to my JD lawyer, like those friends or the like other law school friends, every single question. It's like, hey, is this okay to ask? Or like, am I am I asking right question? Like, did I sound like so dumb? Like all those questions. Yeah, it's all like the new learning. But that's the thing. Like, I love entrepreneurship because you can learn a lot of new things, and then you can apply every aspect of lessons learned or whatever you learned from Darden in the real life with your idea.
Yeah, I was curious. You mentioned having this entrepreneurial interest from the time you even matriculated at Darden. This is something that perhaps motivated you to pursue an MBA. What is it about entrepreneurship that was exciting to you, that is exciting to you?
Well, I grown up with a family business back in Korea. My dad and my mom run the business. To me, always like a business and life was not separate thing. So entrepreneurship itself was always been in my mind. And right before Darden, I worked for the transformation, but at the same time, I was able to pitch a business idea, which is like we call the preventive maintenance solution, like using machine learning and cloud, and tell the users like, hey, because there will be something bad happen, be ready for that. But basically that's the idea, and then pitched the idea to the company and got $1 million funding from the company and spent a year and a half to develop a new product, which like ignites my entrepreneurship aspire inside. Like, okay, seems like this is something I can do, and then I find very interesting. So let's try it. So yeah, that's another reason.
In a perfect world, are you a full-time entrepreneur running Newsublease or pursuing some other idea?
Well, one thing we have a we have a Sarah's amazing entrepreneurship professor at Darden. She made an amazing framework of principles called the effectual entrepreneurship. One of the key theme was like, well, entrepreneurship is all about de-risk. Like it's not about like taking the risk. So I actually got some of the offers for my job. And one of the job probably I'm going to take is going to New York for consulting, but which starts January, which is a perfect for me. So I'm going to spend like rest of this year as a full-time entrepreneur to develop more on Newsublease, or who knows, maybe I will pivot again. But entrepreneurship itself, yes, for sure.
So how was your time at Darden helpful to you along your entrepreneurial journey? You mentioned the E-Cup. You talked about some of the JD MBAs you have access to. You mentioned Sarah Swathi and Effectuation. I wonder, how was Darden helpful to you along this journey?
Yeah, I want to highlight the entrepreneurship thing. Well, because I also complained all about entrepreneurship many times. If some of my friends heard about this podcast, but because Darden is not the like very, very famous school for entrepreneurship, to be honest. Like, but we have a great resources and then ecosystem. Really, like a Baton is one of the biggest entrepreneurship institutes, like sitting right next to the business school. We have a great professor, like I said, Sarah's, and unfortunately, we lost another amazing professor, Damon DeVito. He was an amazing mentor to me. And then Charlottesville itself has a really great entrepreneurship ecosystem, which is connected to the Darden. So for me, it was a great resource. Like I said, like tons of resource you can get, a lot of classes, a lot of people is willing to help you. So as far as you have interest and then show the interest, I think it was great. So for me, E-Cup was the very first one. Even before starting Darden, my very first Darden event was a startup academy by Baton. So it was a great start, and then got a lot of resources from Darden.
I appreciate your mentioning Damon. Unfortunately, as you noted, he passed away recently, and
Yeah.
a big loss for the community. I can't tell you how many people have come on this podcast to talk about how instrumental he was in their entrepreneurial journey. So it sounds like he also touched your experience as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a very, very unfortunate, a huge loss. A lot of my friends, like I'm taking just done like a venture velocity as well, which is his legacy class. Um, a lot of people mention the same thing. We never seen people like Damon, someone who's like such a smart and passionate and never give up, both academically, practically. He knows everything. He knows every people, and he understands any problem and situation than any of like entrepreneurs. It was amazing. He was amazing people. Yeah, hopefully I can see someone like a Damon in my life as well. But yes, that was a big loss.
Yeah. So a wonderful tribute. And I will say, certainly resonates all the other people who come on the podcast and talked about the impact that he had on their entrepreneurial journey. So, Rooney, I wonder, what word of advice would you share with our prospective student listeners? Here you are at the end of, essentially 21 months of an MBA program. You had your last class yesterday. Any advice you would share?
Well, maybe a couple of things I can share. The first one is, it's challenging. Again, MBA program is designed for that. But the reason why they put a lot of things and then make you feel stressed and challenging, because they want you to grow. They want you to try a lot of things out of your comfort zone. So even if you feel that is quite overwhelmed, which means you're growing. So just to be ready for it. That's my one thing. Second thing is, again, I wanted to promote the entrepreneurship in here as I'm talking about entrepreneurship today. Darden, again, like maybe a lot of people, okay, let me take back. So a lot of my friends at Darden, they are interested in entrepreneurship. Like they said, hey, because at some point in my life, I want to do entrepreneurship. My advice is like, maybe you don't want to wait, just to try something, try a little thing. Like I said, Darden got tons of things. I'm in the early stage, still I'm trying, but Darden is a great environment that you can try a lot of things and then fail safely, so that you can learn from it. So that's my another like advice. Just don't wait, try whatever the failure. I'm pretty sure you can learn something from that.
Well, Rooney, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Congratulations on all your success with Newsublease and on winning the E-Cup. And I hope you find your way into the incubator program this summer. That would be great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brad. And then hopefully I can make another achievement and then come back with the better news.
That would be great. That would be great. Well, congratulations also on completing your MBA program. Graduation will be here before you know it.
Yeah, this is a great closing right after my last day of class. So thank you so much for having me, Brad.
And that was my interview with Rooney Lee, a student in our full-time MBA class of 2023. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, requests, anything you'd like for us to cover here on the podcast, we're all ears. We can be reached at Darden, that's DARDEN, @virginia.edu. Until next time, stay safe, be well, and thanks for listening.